Good evening, everyone. All right, that was good. Welcome to the Township Committee meeting of June the 11th, 2019. Ms. Borak, will you please call the roll?
Committeewoman Holmes?
Here.
Committeeman Lapani?
Here.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Here.
Mayor Delcor?
Here.
Administrator Ferreira?
Here.
Attorney Willard?
Here. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be advised that in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Law of 1975, that notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on June 11th, 2019. First on our agenda, we have approval of minutes. The first set is the approval of the May 7th, 2019 Township Committee Special Meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
And Mayor Delcor?
Yes, and we also have the May 14th, 2019 Township Committee meeting minutes. May I have a motion?
So move, Mayor. Second.
Any comments from the dais? Anything from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Abstain?
And Mayor Delcor?
Yes. We'll move to reports from committee liaisons. First up is Committeewoman McCauley.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Just a short message from me from the Fire, Police, and Office of Emergency Management. This Friday, June 14th, at the Hillsborough Township Department of Public Works facility located at 21 East Mountain Road, there will be an active shooter training. It's a drill. The facility will be closed to the public from approximately 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. while the training is taking place. There will be numerous emergency vehicles, police officers present, etc. So just please, if you see anything, there is a drill and it will be active that morning. It's a collaborative effort between the Hillsborough Township Police Department, the Office of Emergency Management, Hillsborough Bureau of Fire Safety, Hillsborough Township Volunteer Fire Departments, and Robert Wood Johnson EMS. And this training clearly is in the light of anything that might happen. And we have conducted quite a few of these throughout the town, here at the Township Building and at several of the schools too. So chose this location this time, so if you see any activity over there, please do not be nervous. The drill would take place again that morning this Friday. That's it for me this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeewoman Lapani.
I'm good. It's all right. It's early. Thank you, Mayor. A few things from the engineering department. If you live in a new development, you know there's construction activity around you because of it's a new project. There's always going to be the possibility of, as you know, dirt, noise, equipment running, mud, etc. Though the engineering department will make every effort to keep this construction activity away from occupied residences, but new home construction does have all the nuisance that we've just discussed. The township ordinance does, though, preclude that any activity must be limited to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Should there be any construction activity outside these perimeters and or on Sunday, except for work by the private homeowners themselves, please feel free to contact the engineering department and or the police department to bring it to their attention, because that would be outside the ordinance. So that is, again, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and no activity on Sunday unless it's your own house. For those who have the daddy-do lists like me, we got to have it done at a certain time. On the Finance Department, the 2018-19 Shop Hillsborough credits have been applied to the third quarter property taxes. This year, there were 520 properties that received these credits for a total of $12,258.91 credit towards their property taxes. Property owners will see their credit when the third quarter tax bills are mailed in early July. This is a reminder from the Business Advocate that tickets are now on sale for the HBA Business Social for Thursday, June 27th at Roycebrook Golf Club from 6 to 9 p.m. This event will feature Matthew Gork, a memory trainer who has helped corporate executives from numerous Fortune 500 companies improve their recall. Mr. Gork's talk will focus on techniques designed to improve retention and empower the mind. The price of admission is $20.50, which includes dinner. A cash bar will be available. Go to hillsboroughbusiness.org to purchase tickets. I have seen Mr. Gork several times, and it is worth the admission. It's amazing what he can make you do in a short period of time. And lastly, the Rotary Club is once again going to do the fair, which I've seen many of you have probably had the opportunity to attend. But this announcement will be again to allow local businesses within the town to showcase their services and connect directly with our customers in its 12th annual fair. The fair is scheduled this year from August 13th to 17th. Over 15,000 attendees of all ages from Hillsborough and surrounding communities are expected during the 5 days event held at Hillsborough Promenade, which is in the Lowe's parking lot, if you don't know where that is. For more information on the upcoming fair and how to participate and be a sign sponsor or tent vendor, please contact Ken Jenko at 908-229-5045, or you can email at kgenco@att.net, or Anthony Francini at 908-334-9304. And that's his email is anthony.francini, Francini, @td.com. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks. Committeewoman Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor. The Green Living and Wellness Fair was held on Saturday, June 1st, and was a great success. There were 66 vendors who offered their expertise. We will be publishing photos and information about the vendors online coming up soon. We would like to thank all the vendors who donated their time and their talents to our fair. A reminder to Hillsborough Township residents who own dogs, please be advised that dog licensing is required by New Jersey law and by local ordinance. Hillsborough requires annual dog license registration. We will continue to conduct a canvass for unlicensed dogs. Please license your dogs immediately for 2019 and avoid a fine. See the website and go to How Do I? Or go to Animal Alley under the Health Department. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. One, I just wanted to point out that on May 31st, the Hope for Tomorrow event was held over at the Woods Road Firehouse. It was organized by the Hillsborough Education Association to raise awareness for mental health. There was several great, not vendors there, but community groups there, along with a great presentation by our canine officers here in town. So I just wanted to thank all the teachers who put that together to get that event together to raise awareness for mental health. From our Social Services Department, you can join us for an evening of fun as you vote for Hillsborough's most talented seniors. Free admission includes dinner, but you must register with the Social Services Department prior to the event. It's being sponsored in part by Foothill Acres Rehabilitation and Nursing Home, so visit our website for that. Also, you can take a break from the heat and join us as we celebrate a fun-filled day. In the spirit of the holidays, Bridgeway Senior Healthcare will be hosting their first Christmas in July with lunch, games, and presents. Free admission for that event, but again, you must register no later than July 8th in the Social Services Office, or you can visit there on the website to get information about that. Also, come join for some Hillsborough's most youthful residents in a fun-filled week of activities and trips at the 2019 JOY, which stands for Just Older Youth Camp. During the week of July 22nd to 25th, you can join us with some light breakfast followed by activities each day such as bocce tournaments, barbecues, movies, and much more. Registration begins on Friday, June 14th, and can be done at the Recreation Office. From the library, Hillsborough branch was named the best branch in the Somerset Library System in all of Somerset County. We already knew that, but it's nice to get recognized by other groups for that. Just a reminder also that all Somerset County Library branches will be closed on Sunday, June 16th. That is all for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple items. I wanted to thank everyone. Over the last couple meetings, we've talked about a national mayor's campaign that was going on. Weiland Company was running it, and it was a campaign for water conservation, and I am very proud to say Hillsborough placed #1 in New Jersey in the 30,000 to 100,000 population category. And the process saved over 8.5 million gallons of water in the process. It was the first time Hillsborough had entered the competition, and the campaign was trying to encourage residents to make a series of pledges to use water more efficiently, reduce pollution, and of course save energy in the process. So a great sustainability effort, and I thank everyone that participated in the process. And as usual, we're #1, so that's good. I want to thank the Y for allowing me to kick off their annual 5K hop that was held on June the 1st. I think they had 800 plus runners. Started at the Y and then finishes up here at the municipal building, and as Committeewoman Holmes noted, right after that we had the health and wellness fair here in the municipal building. So it was a good day for fitness and health, and we had a really good crop of vendors here in the municipal building for anyone that wanted to come in and visit them. So thanks to the Y for allowing me to do that. I also had the opportunity last week to go to the high school for their annual scholarship night for their seniors. I forget what the total amount of scholarship was, but it was a pretty impressive number that they give out to the high school seniors. I think there was 120 or so different scholarships that were available, and so I got to actually give a scholarship in the name of Peter Biondi, who this building is named after. But it was just nice to see the quality of kids and the work that they do to earn scholarships for their college endeavors. So thanks to the high school for allowing me to participate in that. And also last Friday we had the Girl Scouts of New Jersey, Hillsborough had their annual awards night over at the middle school, where they gave out their bronze, silver, and gold awards, and also a number of other awards to their various Girl Scouts. And so it was a really nice night, always is, and they have a great turnout for that event as well. So thanks for letting me kick that off as well and give a little speech. I want to talk a little bit about road paving. You may have seen that recently we have started the road paving process that we had talked about earlier in the year. So we've initiated a bond ordinance that will allow us to start to pave about 9 major roads in town. The first 2 are now done. That's Clawson and Riverside Drive. That paving was completed last week, just waiting for final striping. The next 2 roads that will be done will be Raider Boulevard from 206 to Stryker, thank you, Jesus. So right in front of the movie theater there, so that whole road will be paved. And also South Triangle Road. South Triangle will wait till school is out, and we don't have to worry about the school kids, but that'll be done starting in the next few weeks. So really good progress starting on some of the road paving projects, and the rest of the set of roads will be completed in the coming weeks. Looking ahead, we've got a couple of save-the-date items. Our annual Independence Day fireworks will be combined this year with our music festival. So that's going to be on June the 29th. Festivities will start around 5 p.m. Anyone that's participated in the past knows it's really a great fireworks show. But in order to kind of make it a fuller day, we're going to have the music festival as part of that. So we'll have a number of local bands local musicians performing throughout the process. So anybody who wants to come out early, just get a seat out on the lawn there at Aughton Road School. We'll have food vendors as well, and some entertainment and games for the kids. So it'll be a full day. Look forward to being out there and having a great day. Hopefully the weather will be good and we can have a great night. We also will have a community night at the Patriots, so the Somerset Patriots on July the 13th. That's Hillsborough Community Night, where Hillsborough will be recognized at the event. Tickets are available. Anyone that would like to join us for that, please check the local e-news or our weekly e-news for information on tickets for Community Night. As always, you can stay connected with all our events and anything else going on in town through our Friday e-news as well as our Twitter feed. And we also have our TV 29 and Hillsborough YouTube channels, which showcase our meetings as well as Hillsborough, the Good Life episodes. And we also have Hillsborough alerts for traffic and emergency notifications. So lots of opportunity to stay connected and make sure everyone knows all the good things that are going on in Hillsborough each week. We're going to move on to our proclamations tonight. We ask you, as we call you up, if you could please return to your seats after you get your proclamation. We would like to get through all of the proclamations before we let people start for an orderly departure. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. I promise you we'll have some good budget news later if you want to stay. But I recognize if you don't want to stay, we'll give you an opportunity to go. But let's be respectful and let everybody get their recognition before we start a departure. Okay, so first up, I'd like to call up, we've got 2 Teachers of the Year to be recognized this evening. I'd first like to call up Michelle Klink. Michelle Klink, a 4th grade teacher at Sunnymead Elementary School, has the honor of being named Sunnymead Elementary School's Teacher of the Year for 2019. Ms. Klink has been a member of the Hillsborough School District faculty for 11 and a half years as an elementary school teacher. She has been a 4th grade teacher for the past 5 years and has been involved with writing and developing curriculum and common assessment writing for science, math, social studies, and literacy. She has served as a mentor for a student teacher and a buddy for a new teacher. She has also contributed her time to Sunnymead programs such as Fit Girls, Craft Night, Friendship Soup, and the 4th grade students versus teachers floor hockey game. The Hillsborough Township Committee commends Ms. Klink for being recognized as Sunnymead Elementary School Teacher of the Year, and we thank her for all her work and dedication to Hillsborough students. Congratulations.
I just want to thank you, Mayor Delcourt, for this, and I feel very privileged and blessed to work at Sunnymead, so thank you.
Okay, can I have Lourdes Lewis, please? I'm going to take this one.
Bigger words, bigger writing.
Lourdes Lewis, a Spanish teacher at Woodfern Elementary School, has the honor of being named as Woodfern Elementary's Teacher of the Year for 2019 because of her dedication and service to the Hillsborough School District. She has been a member of the Hillsborough School District faculty for 17 years as a Spanish teacher in various elementary schools and the Hillsborough Middle School. She organized several Woodfern nutrition seminars for ESL parents and developed a Spanish integration program at Woodfern and Sunnymead Elementary Schools for kindergarten through 4th grade team teaching. She also routinely assists colleagues, school nurses, counselors, and the administration as a translator, organizes visits to Beekman Gardens Complex to connect with the economically challenged minority population, and assist with the registration enrollment process, and to deliver donated class supplies, food, and clothing. The Hillsborough Township Committee commends Lourdes Lewis for being recognized as Woodfern Elementary School's Teacher of the Year, and we thank her for all her work and dedication to Hillsborough students. Congratulations.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mayor Frank Delcourt, Deputy Mayor Doug Thompson, the committee for this recognition. I'm humbled and honored to be part of this group of professionals. I would like to thank my family, colleagues, fellow students, former students, and their parents for being part of my humble journey. Thank you.
We also have two other Teachers of the Year that were unable to join us here tonight. I'd like to congratulate Kathleen Holman, a second grade teacher at Amsterdam Elementary, who was named the Amsterdam Elementary School Teacher of the Year for 2019. And also Joanna Robeson, a math teacher at Hillsborough Elementary School, for being named as Hillsborough Elementary School's Teacher of the Year for 2019. Congratulations to both of them, and we'll get them more proclamations as well. Okay, next we're going to have a proclamation designating June as Pride Month. Is there anyone here for Pride Month? The month of June was designated Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots, which occurred in June of 1969 and are recognized as a catalyst for the LGBT rights movement. The nation was founded upon a set of principles that include every person has been created equal and each has rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each should be accorded the full recognition and protection of law. Hillsborough Township is dedicated to fostering acceptance of all its citizens and preventing discrimination or bullying based upon sexual orientation or gender identity. Our community is strengthened by and thrives on a rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, racial, gender, and sexual identity of all its residents. The Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, recognizes that LGBT teens are at higher risk to be victims of violence and have increased suicide rates. It is imperative that young people in our community, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their peers, educators, and community leaders. The Mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee urge all residents to recognize the contributions made by members of the LGBT community and actively promote the principles of equality and liberty.
I would just like to say, as members of the LGBT community, my wife and myself would like to say thank you for the support of the mayor and township committee and administrator for their support, and it's appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, can I have Ian Golden come up? Ian Golden, a sophomore at Hillsborough High School and a member of Boy Scout Troop 1776, has recently earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Ian's Eagle Scout project consisted of remodeling a multi-purpose room at local Oak Spring Girl Scout camp and coordinating more than 15 volunteers to clean, paint, and install flooring, wainscoting, chair railing, shelves, and baseboards. Ian has served in many leadership roles as a scout and has achieved 4 NOVA Worldwide Scouting Awards in science, technology, engineering, and math. He has volunteered over 100 hours of service to various organizations. He's a member of the Hillsborough High School Robo Raiders and has served on their leadership team. Ian serves as an example to the youth of Hillsborough Township through his high level of leadership and community service, and we are very proud that he is a member of our community. The Hillsborough Township Committee extends our sincere congratulations to Ian for having achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, an honor for both him and for those who have guided him, and we wish you the best for your future. Congratulations.
I'd just like to thank you, Mr. Delcourt, and the committee for this proclamation. Yes, and my parents, of course.
Do we have any middle school softball players here? I think we had a couple. Come on up.
And the trophy. Yay! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is becoming an annual event for us, for the girls softball teams, because we just have incredible programs, and every year they're winning more and more championships. So we love recognizing the softball teams. So the 2019 Hillsborough Middle School softball team achieved a 13-1 record in the season and won the Central Jersey Junior School Softball Association Championship for the 6th time in 7 years. Yeah, you can clap at that. It's okay. The 2019 Hillsborough Middle School softball team consisted of the following young athletes:
Jenna Massey, Anna Dow, Sarah Davenport, Claire Marcine, Lexi Cobrin, Amy Richoa, Claire Murphy,
Lily McDonough,
Faith Scavron,
Colleen Mayer,
Cleo Van Ness.
Lindsay Kowalski.
And the team was led again by head coach Rich Rosenblum. The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough Middle School softball team, the coaches, and parents, not only for their successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport, and to those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement, which their team endorses. Coach, congratulations.
Mayor Delcourt, I want to thank you and the committee for, once again, it's nice to see familiar faces. That's nice. I also want to congratulate the Teacher of the Year recipients and your proclamations. It's a testament to this town and what goes on. And I know a couple of young ladies are coming up next, but this is what softball in this town is all about. So congratulations to you young ladies and coaches on your proclamation as well.
All right. Put the shirt off behind you. Get in here. You gotta keep it up. You have to keep it up a long time.
Wait, Minnie, stand up and hold up.
Okay, here we go. I love the shirt, you know that. If you want one without us, you can too. Thank you.
Thank you, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Okay, one more. How about the high school softball team? The 2019 Hillsborough High School varsity softball team achieved a 14-5 record in the season, was seeded second in the Somerset County tournament, and ultimately were the 2019 Somerset County champions. The Hillsborough... The 2019 Hillsborough High School varsity softball team consisted of the following young athletes.
Nicole Kazantzis,
Sierra Scala,
Katie Rigel,
Courtney Wingren,
Bree Holodinsky,
Delaney Smith, Tori Bray, Lauren Saluto,
Anisha Gademsky,
Emily Orr,
And Carly Peruso.
And the team was led by Coach Cheryl Ione. The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough High School varsity softball team, the coaches and parents, not only for their successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport, and for those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement which the team endorses. The middle school kids, these kids were probably part of the program that we gave a proclamation to a couple years ago when they were at the middle school. And you see the progress that we make. Really an incredible softball program we have here in town. And coaches, congratulations, young ladies. A couple familiar faces. I'm glad. I think I actually was coached a couple of these girls earlier in their career, and thank God they didn't listen to a thing I said. Congratulations all, and great season. Coach?
Thank you, Mayor Delcor and the committee for having and recognizing us. Congratulations to all the other recipients, in particular my middle school team. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you at the high school next year. And I'd also like to give the most thank you I'd like to give is to my players for what they've accomplished this year. After a disappointing loss in last year's county final, they were on a mission to get back. Not only did they get back, but they won in dominating fashion, and it was just a wonderful evening. A great bunch of girls are going to miss the seniors, and congratulations, girls. And again, thank you, everybody.
Okay, as promised, we're going to take a quick break. If you'd like to leave, we'll give you that opportunity now. Congratulations to all our proclamation recipients tonight, and we'll reconvene in a couple minutes. We're going to move on to the rest of our agenda. First, we have no new business tonight, so we're going to move to public comment and on new business and matters not on the agenda. If anyone has a comment on matters not on tonight's agenda, can come forward.
Susan Gulliford.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
We had the wildlife presentation before public
We
comment.
did, right? That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, I missed, yes, I
Sorry.
apologize, I missed the presentation.
up.
My apologies.
Start over.
Sorry, we'll get to you, Susan, I promise. I'm sorry, we do have a presentation left for the Wildlife Commission. I apologize. Sorry, Bob.
Been preempted.
Thought he got out of it.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Township Committee. Again, I guess it's what, our 14th year now of a safe, successful season.
Excuse me, Mr. Matros, a little closer to the mic, please.
Yeah. Rockstar.
Rockstar, huh?
There you go.
With that. We had a great, successful year, safe as usual.
It might be, yeah, it might have got.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, that's it, good. Works when it's on. Again, we had a successful year, as reported by our police department, right there, Officer Mazzaros. No hits, no problems, no issues there. So again, we're coming to give you a program of what the success was last year and to get your blessings for the upcoming year. So here's the harvest reports here for the program. We cut it real short. Again, safety is our priority, and for the past 15 years, we've had a very successful season, safe as usual. Most people don't even know we're out there, so it's good to know that. So this is the information tabulated from the 55 surveys that were returned, so it's about a 93%, a little higher, I guess, this year than last year, Tom, which is
It's a good number.
What then? So total harvest for the season was 132.
Lost the mic.
24 firearms, 108 archery. Still, is it fading on? Maybe the battery's going.
That's usually my issue with that thing.
Don't touch the button.
Stay green, don't.
Yeah. Harvested just.
It's not staying green.
All right, we're going to take,
There we go.
Kaz, why don't we take 2 minutes and we're going to go off record for just a sec, or take a 2-minute break.
So again, for total harvest for the deer, for archery, we had 108, 48 males, 84 females, which is a pretty good ratio. To do a hunt that's going to reduce the deer numbers, you want to have a higher doe ratio over the males, because a doe can average 1 to 3 offspring a year. So you want to reduce the population, you have to reduce the doe count. So a total of 1,032 days hunted with the program. The motor vehicle collisions are successfully going down over the past several years. 2017, we had 181. This year, or last year, reported was 141. And when you can see when we first started the program, it was up to 333. So it was almost a deer a day as being reported being hit. So we pretty much cut that in half. Again, we had 26 deer donated to the Hunters Helping the Hungry program at the Northwest Bank. V. Roach in White House does the processing, which is paid for by the hunter permit fees. Again, I got to call him. He'll probably do it again. He's been doing it for the past 14 years, and it was a cost of $1,950, which is paid through the permits. So again, for a proposal for next year, nothing's really changed. We're going to continue with the Hunters Helping the Hungry. I invited Fish and Game to come down to do the orientation, which will be August 1st if you approve the program. But Keith is away that week, so he can't be there. But we give a pretty good safety program, and really instate that they have to have safety vests. You can't shoot have to be in a tree stand before anything is loaded or shot. So we deal with that. We really stress those programs. And some of the guys have been in the program for 14 years, and they come to the program and they sit and listen and help out, which is good. So that's it. So all we ask is you to continue the program. I guess Pam has the applications ready to go. The lottery would be the end of this month, I believe. And then the safety meeting, I'll make the phone calls for the hunters who win the program, and we will have the safety meeting on August 1st. We moved it up a couple of weeks to give the guys a chance, well, ladies too, there's a couple women in the program, to set up, get things earlier in the season, get things more acclimated out there to get a higher success rate. So, any questions?
Do you expect any issues with people returning, changing over some areas for folks, or generally stable?
Pretty much stable. We had, how many permits not returned? surveys returned, 7, something like that? 7, I think there was 5 hunters who did not harvest at least 2 deer. If they shoot 2, they can continue in the program as long as they return the survey and don't break any of the rules. And they just, reapply. So I guess it'd be about 12, I think 12, 2 people want to relocate. So there'd be like 14 positions open this year out of, I think, 60.
Okay.
So the guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing out there. We're getting good comments from the guys out there, too. They really enjoy the program, and glad we're doing it. So,
The amount of food that goes to the Feed the Hungry program is pretty impressive, so
yeah, that's a good
creates
program, you figure, yeah.
a lot of food for.
Right, because, protein like that's a rare commodity for the food bank. So when they get it, they really appreciate it, so. Any other questions? All right, we thank you, and hopefully we'll see you again next year, given the report, so.
Thank you very much. Do we want to just move that up and consent number 1, or wait till we get to the consent agenda?
You can just do it with everything else if you want.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the work to put that together and compile all that data. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move to public comment on new business and matters that are not on tonight's agenda. Susan, I'm sorry, you lost your chance. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, Susan Gulliford, just one quick thing that came up today. The informational packet that comes out for each meeting, if there's any way that can be posted somewhere, I don't think it can go where you have the agenda, but it would be helpful to people who are interested in the meeting if somewhere the informational packet could be posted with an online link, if you can think about that.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you.
This
All
informational
the backup
packet-
material, you mean?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
informational packet that you put out in the back. A lot of people apparently do find it very useful and wondered how to get it before the meeting so they have a little time to understand what it is you're presenting. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Heather Larico. I reached out to the mayor's office on May 29th. Granted, it was at the end of, I sent an email later in the evening, so I'll give it till business May 30th, regarding National Gun Violence Awareness Day, which was held on June 7th. I was looking through e-news and Twitter, et cetera, to see if the Township Committee was going to be making any statement in support of National Gun Violence Awareness Day. I have a list of local governments that have partnered with Wear Orange in order to support this important cause. I received an email response from your office saying that my email was being forwarded to the business administrator. I never received a response. I find that very concerning, that an issue of national importance, an issue that led hundreds of students last year to walk out of the high school and middle school, was not something that was addressed. So I would appreciate it if the town council would find time to discuss what their policy or position will be, and to consider issuing a proclamation for next year. Thank you.
Thanks.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. And I'm also a Hillsborough Township property owner, joint owner with my husband of Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Camp Lane Road. Mayor Delcourt, I had written a letter to you regarding a copy of the Hillsborough Township Police report that I had received from Hillsborough Township Police Chief Darren Powell. I had requested a response, and I didn't get a response, so the only way for me to address this issue is to come here and speak to you. I had filed a complaint, a written complaint to Police Chief Darren Powell regarding fraud that was perpetrated by the Township Administrator, Mr. Ferreira, and complicit was Mr. William Willard, the Township Attorney.
Your allegations, to be clear, which we know are not true, but your allegations, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, you can.
Well, you said complicit, meaning it was an actual act.
I'm just stating that that was the complaint that I
Okay.
had, the written complaint I sent via certified mail
Yes.
to Chief Darren Powell. I'm just stating that,
Okay.
that's all. So now, I had gotten a letter from Chief Powell saying that that was a civil matter, although it was fraud, it was a civil matter, but yet he gave me a copy of a Hillsborough Township Police Department incident report that's identified as investigation, case number 2018-000200A. It's calls the incident public service aid, and it starts with, and so this report that was provided by Chief Darren Powell shows that it was prepared by Captain Charles Francis Boyle from the Hillsborough Township Police Department. So it starts with that on 9/24/18, Chief Darren Powell turned over to me a packet containing various documents that had been delivered to him via certified U.S. mail. The packet contained 2 letters and supporting documents labeled Exhibit 1 through Exhibit 10, addressed to Chief Powell from Ms. Maria Janusik of Manville, New Jersey. In her letters, Ms. Janusik accuses Hillsborough Township Administrator Anthony Ferreira and Hillsborough Township Attorney William Willard of fraud, public misconduct, and public malfeasance. And then also then in this letter, it says that Chief Powell stated that Ms. Janusik had been involved in a protracted battle with Hillsborough Township officials over the zoning of an investment rental property that she owns in Hillsborough on Camp Lane Road. Ms. Janusik was apparently issued a summons several years ago by the Township zoning officer for operating an illegal, unauthorized 3-family residence on the property. She eventually prevailed in municipal court where former Judge John Richardson found her not guilty of the zoning violation. However, Township officials still contend that the use of the property as a 3-family residence is unlawful. I had submitted a request through the Open Public Records Act for government records, and I asked to please provide a copy of the Hillsborough Township records that document that Hillsborough Township officials still contend that the use of the property owned by Maria Janusik as a 3-family residence is unlawful, as is reported in the investigation report compiled by Charles Francis Boyle, police captain. Why have I not gotten a response? I'm taxed. I've owned that property together with my husband jointly since 1973. There were 2 revaluations that showed it to be a 3-family house. The property record card that I received regarding the property from the tax assessor's office, and just recently I had a meeting with the Somerset County Tax Administrator, Robert Vance, because the public record, the tax list in the tax assessor's office in Hillsborough, here in Hillsborough, showed my property as a single family, and yet the property record card shows multifamily 3, built 1940. So that issue was addressed at the tax board, and that was corrected so that the tax list shows my property is a 3-family. So I want to know which township officials, based on this report, and now this report is a record of my property, a Hillsborough Township record of my property. So I want to know which township officials still contend that the use of the property as a 3-family residence is unlawful.
What is the legal status of your property?
I had submitted a request for government records.
Well, we've been through this about 50 times already, and you know exactly how it is.
I had asked, what is the legal use of Block 86, Lot 3? And the response was, there are no records responsive to that request. So that's why I keep asking.
Okay, so is it your contention that we have not provided you with information as to how the zoning has been amended and corrected on your property?
You asked me about the legal use, and so I responded. So
And
now,
we have not provided you
use?
with that information? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Ms. Janusik, that is simply not true. We have provided you with oodle of documentation.
Mayor,
So-
you're going to a different issue. My question is, based on this statement, township officials still contend that the use of the property as a 3-family residence is unlawful. That's what I'm
Okay,
bringing
that's
up.
in- that's
and
in a-
I am requesting a response. Which township officials, based on this police report and investigation,
Okay.
which township officials still contend that the use of my property as a 3-family residence is unlawful?
I have no idea.
I had written a letter to you, Mayor. I had
Yes,
requested, I sent you a copy of this.
I know,
I requested, Mayor, may I finish? I will respectfully listen to you. I sent you a letter, and I requested, and I sent copies to the committee members. I said, please respond to me, because this can't go on. The letter that I received from Mr. Ferreira stated that my property is in the L1 light industrial zone, that it was changed in 1980. There was no L1 zone. Mayor, you were the one that signed that ordinance creating that light industrial zone. So that was fraudulent. And then Mr. Ferreira wrote in his letter, and that is the information that will be provided to anyone who asks, including a prospective buyer, which ties my husband and my hands with not knowing what we're supposed to do with that property.
We have provided you with multiple times with what that property is zoned for and what the zoning is. So I'm not going to debate it again.
No,
because
you have not.
you have documentation.
No, you
Hold
have
on.
not.
I let you speak. Now let
Okay,
me
go
speak.
ahead. Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. I have told you twice, as did the chief, if you believe there was fraud, if you believe that, the prosecutor is in Somerset County. That's who the jurisdiction is. You are free to go talk to him and state your case. It is not a township matter, and it's not something I'm going to indulge here. I'm just not going to do it. So
Fine.
you have the opportunity to go to the prosecutor and make your case for fraud. You know you haven't gone there, so I'm assuming you know you have no case. But if you want to, go ahead.
Okay, now, you went and danced around all this. My question was, based on this, what township officials still contend that the use
I have
of
no
my
idea, is
property
exactly what I
as a
told you. And if
residence
there's no
is unlawful?
documentation that says that, there's no documentation that says that, other than what's in front of
Well,
you.
how can the police provide an investigation of my property and put this in a report, and then no one knows what it is? Yet this is a record, a Hillsborough Township record of my property. How can the police put something like that without having something? And I wrote a letter to the chief of police saying, because he said it could be from numerous sources, it could be personal knowledge, it could be from communication from someone, it could be a record. I said, please give me whatever source it was,
Okay.
where you got this information. I never got a response.
Okay, which means there's no
I never
written
got a
or
response.
anything public that would be correspondence that could be shared with you. That's what that means.
No, it doesn't. It means that no one's giving me a correct
But you said you
answer.
Oprah'd and didn't get any information.
what?
You said you did an Oprah request and that you did not receive any information. Hold on, you didn't receive any information about any official saying that, correct? That's what you just said earlier, that you did an Oprah request and there were no documents to back that up, correct?
No one, and I got no response.
But that's not true. If you did an Oprah request and there was no information, that doesn't mean you didn't get a response. It means there was no information, correct?
No, because usually, when I get a response like that, it will say there are no records responsive to this request. I didn't get anything.
You didn't get anything?
No.
Okay, well, I don't have that document that you're holding. I'll be happy to look at it, okay? But
Do you want to
if
look at
there,
it?
no, I'm not going to look at it on the fly.
I also have a
No,
copy
no,
of
no,
my, I also have a copy of my property
You always
record
get
card.
upset when we cut you off, but if we're talking and you cut us off, you
ahead.
feel it's okay, and that's not correct.
Yes, yeah,
We're
no,
going back and
I agree
forth,
with
correct?
you, yes.
Okay, so I'm not looking at that right now. The mayor's not looking at it right now. The mayor's been very clear that we provided you every document possible regarding this property. The police chief was also very clear in what he wrote back to you, saying that perhaps it was information that the officer during his investigation learned. Okay, again, based on personal knowledge, discussion, things like that. But if there's not a physical piece of paper to give you, then there's not a physical piece of paper to give you. You've been provided every document for years now, years. And you would agree with me that this has been years that you've been Oprahing us, costing the town tens of thousands of dollars via Oprah, which I know you're happy about, and because
No,
we've
I'm
discussed,
not.
we've discussed
No,
this
I'm not.
before.
I'm a taxpayer.
So am I, and I get very upset when my taxes go to frivolous things. So my point is that if there's no document to provide you, and the police chief has been very clear to you that this was information that could have been gleaned from during an investigation, that Captain Boyle, who is a tremendous captain for the township and a dedicated
I'm happy to
officer
hear that.
for 25 years, I think he's coming up on 25.
Very nice.
He's a great guy. There might not be information for you to have. And it may be that. So you can keep sending requests, and we're going to provide you whatever we have, but you've received everything.
Okay, so Mayor, you're saying that I received information regarding the legal use of my property?
Are you saying you have not?
I'm asking you if you have.
Yes, I
provided
100% you have received everything you have asked for.
that. I have received records regarding the legal use of my property.
You have received information about what your zoning is supposed to be, how you got to the L1 and how ultimately we had to make a clarification as to what your zoning was.
Mayor,
We have received multiple copies of information.
You're saying my property is zoned L1?
No, I'm saying you have received information as to what the exact zoning of your property is on multiple occasions, multiple letters, multiple correspondence, multiple documentation. And if you're saying you haven't, then you know you're not being truthful.
So in 2011, I was told my property is zoned I1 light industrial.
I
I was issued a summons for a violation of the I1, and then in 2015, when I submitted a tax appeal, I got a letter from Mr. Ferrera stating my property is in L1 light industrial, and those are two different zones.
And did we clarify that?
And
So-
nothing was clarified until a few years later, last year, came in and asked, and then I got a letter, oh, no, yours is an I1. So what is this, a joke? 1 year it's this, 1 year it's that. Be interesting to find out what it's going to be this year. I have another issue. Judge John F. Richardson, did he resign or did he retire? Because in the minutes of the Hillsborough Township Committee meeting, it states he retired, he was wished well, and all this stuff. I submitted a judiciary records request to Vicinage 13, to the Municipal Division, and the response I got was that he resigned. And I was told, if you want to know anything about anything further, talk to his employer, Hillsborough Township. So did Judge John F. Richardson, the former municipal court judge of Hillsborough Township, did he resign or did he retire?
Honestly, not sure I understand for your purposes, what the difference would be, but
I
I don't know what his letter said.
Because if he retired, he'd be eligible for a pension. That's based on the agreement, the
But that's the pension board.
agreement.
That's the pension board that has to evaluate
That's a
that, not
shared-
us.
That's a shared, in the agreement for the shared court between Hillsborough,
Yes.
Montgomery, and Manville.
That's
He would
correct.
be entitled to a pension, and if he resigned, then I don't know if he'd be entitled. And so there's
So-
an
so
issue.
let-
Why
so-
why
so-
would there be a discrepancy? I was told in writing to check with Hillsborough.
Can I answer your question?
Did he resign or did he retire?
Can I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, for our purposes, it doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't. Whether he resigned or retired, for the purposes of Hillsborough Township and the vicinage, it doesn't matter. The only issue is from a retirement standpoint. If he's eligible for a pension through the New Jersey pension system, for the state workers, then the pension board will review his pension application if he is retired, and he may or may not be eligible. I have no idea. But for your purposes, I'm not sure why you care.
Because I'd like to know why there is that discrepancy. Why would there be a different record there and a different record here?
I have no idea. But I'm not sure what is the discrepancy.
Because I think it's important, because these are ambiguities. Why should there be a discrepancy as to whether he retired, where you guys wished him happy, and then I got a different response.
So what if he
from the
retired and
vicinage
then
saying
decided
that
he wanted to
resigned,
work again?
And it said that he resigned effective, I believe it was in December, where he was working
Who
till
stated that?
February.
Who
Yeah,
stated
said he
that, Maria?
resigned?
Because
Excuse me?
we can't respond to you on something that
jeez.
someone else has told you.
From this,
We have no response to that because we didn't see any
Okay.
documents or hear
Thank
that.
you.
So where did you hear that? Who said that, the county or?
I will make a copy of the letter and
Okay,
submit it to
please do that,
all
'cause
of the all
we
of the
can't
members
respond to
here
you without
because-
seeing
Because
what you mean.
he resigned, and I was told by Vicinage 13, I believe it's Ms. Sullivan, the municipal division manager,
Mm-hmm.
and she directed me to check with Hillsborough, his employer.
Can you help
former
me,
employer.
and I'm being completely serious when I say this, can you help me understand why there's a difference between those two in your eyes and why there's any type of importance
Well,
in the
first of all-
discrepancy?
First of all, obviously somebody's giving fraudulent information.
You believe the
Obviously,
difference between
someone is giving
retirement and
fraudulent
resigning
information.
is fraudulent? Is
I
that?
believe someone is giving fraudulent information. Did he retire or did he resign?
I thank you for
Okay.
sharing that, because
Yes.
it now puts your other fraudulent matter into better
Very
perspective.
good.
So thank you
Yes.
for that.
Yes, I wanted to make sure that that was brought to your attention.
Any other comments from the public? Please come forward.
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Michelle Conklin. I live at 3 Aldrin Court. I've been a resident of Hillsborough for 14 years now. And I'm before you today because I want to tell you about what I see as a disconnect between the Township Committee and the Hillsborough Board of Education. Recently, there was a referendum about having full-day kindergarten for Hillsborough, and also because of a budget gap because of cuts in state funding. And there wasn't a great turnout. I mean, I heard about it, and I spoke to some of my friends about it. But after the referendum, I heard from people who didn't know what it was about, or they didn't understand the way it was phrased. And I try to keep myself informed. I know that the Township Committee puts out an email newsletter, and it never mentioned anything about what I feel is a very important issue to us. Hillsborough is a wonderful place to live, and if there's like one thing that Hillsborough is best known for, I believe it's our school systems. I personally moved here. That was the main reason I moved here, was for the school system. I have a son in middle school right now. I know many other people moved here because of the school systems. Recently, I was at just a get-together with some neighbors, and one of my neighbors mentioned that since the referendum, she's aware of 2 families that have young children that are talking about leaving Hillsborough because they no longer have confidence in our school system. Apparently, there's a great need. We need a new high school. I think that full-day kindergarten would be a positive thing for our community, and I understand that we have budget cuts, which have resulted in layoffs. There's a lot of building going on in Hillsborough right now, and building, encourages families to move here and bring their children. But if our school system, if the buildings are bursting at the seams right now, then where are we going to put the new children? And I'm just saying that the Township Committee should treat this as a planning issue that's important to Hillsborough. It's not something separate just for the Hillsborough Board of Education to deal with. This is a Hillsborough issue that's very important. And if you're sending out a newsletter to keep people informed about Hillsborough, it should at least have some mention when we're having a referendum on something so important.
I'm not sure, and I appreciate your comments. I think we agree. We actually did have Superintendent Schiff present his plan here at a Township Committee meeting before the referendum. So he was here to present
and
the
I was
plan
probably here. And, maybe I get them a little bit mixed up sometimes.
And I think we also, several times, a number of weeks, we had information that there was a vote upcoming, that there was, the information about how to vote and what was going to be on the ballot. So I'm not sure.
I hear what you're saying, and I myself heard about it, but I'm retired from my city job, and I have time to check emails and look at things. Someone mentioned, well, there could have been signs put up like they do for other elections. I don't know, that was one suggestion.
So that can be done, but the signs that go up aren't paid for by the township.
Right.
Those are paid for by the parties that are looking to have their candidates up and running. So, or there could be another sort of election committee that's formed that could do those. I mean, part of where we run a little bit of we have to walk a bit of a fine line is that, we do have completely separate boards. So the Township Committee really has no jurisdiction over the Board of Ed, but certainly I agree with your premise that, things that are going to affect the schools affect us, and things that affect us and development or whatever it may be that's going to affect the schools are things that we have to take into consideration as we do that. So we try to make sure that we work together where we can, but there is a bit of a line that we have to keep, because we don't really control what the Board of Ed does, and they can't really control what this board votes for. But we do try to get that information out. So if you thought it was deficient, we can certainly look at that going forward and make sure that at least people are aware that there's a vote upcoming. And I think we do try to do that pretty regularly, but we'll certainly take another look at it, make sure it's something that we could be sure the message is getting out.
Mayor, if I may,
Yeah.
Ms. Conklin, so as the mayor had mentioned, Dr. Schiff was here with the presentation, but we also had it on the e-news on March 12th, and including the FAQs and including the video,
See, I
and on
missed
our
that one.
website and Twitter, and getting it all out there. And again, as the mayor said, I'm agreeing with you, the Board of Ed is responsible for that and should have communicated maybe better, but we communicated it in trying to help get the message out as much as we possibly could. So
I saw,
this is not
I
true.
think I saw most of the information that was presented on the Board of Ed website. And I think some people, if they don't actually have children in school, then they're not looking at that necessarily.
But I think what we sent out messaging in the e-newsletter that linked to the school website,
Yeah. But
Correct.
then some people
where the
felt-
data was. Yep.
I believe some people felt that the Board of Education, for whatever reason, had their own partisan views on, how people should vote because it's the Board of Education. And I don't know how to deal with that really, but,
Have you been to one of their meetings to address it?
oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then the Hillsborough Education Association spent thousands of dollars getting the vote out. I mean, they targeted mailers to a large section of the community, trying to make sure people came out and voted yes. Obviously, people rejected the Board of Ed and their budget for various reasons, which I could go into for hours, but I don't think we want to do that right now.
But just in spite of all of these outreach efforts and, this committee and the Board of Ed put things out there, I still heard from people after the vote, oh, was there a vote? What was that about? It's not on their radar somehow.
We can't make that happen,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We try our own.
They're part of the same people
Fireworks,
that don't come out
balloons.
to vote on November either.
Yeah.
I think we had
but
7% in the
We're always trying
primary.
to get people to come out. And it's an off voting day, too.
Yeah.
So sometimes people aren't paying attention quite necessarily that it's a public vote on an off voting.
And of
session.
course, now that the referendum failed, we have a lot of questions because originally the Board of Ed planned to do another referendum in the fall that would be for the high school, but now everything is up in the air. And, I'm really wondering what happens next.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately, that question has to be directed to the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you for your time.
you're welcome.
Thanks, Michelle.
Anything else from the public? Okay. We are going to move on to the introduction of new ordinances. First up, we have ordinance 2019-11, which is an ordinance to exceed the 2019 municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank. Further consideration of this ordinance and a public hearing will be held on July the 9th, 2019. Under state budget law, the unused portion of the appropriations cap, which is different than the tax levy cap, may be reserved to be available in the next 2 years. Each year since 2002, Hillsborough has been able to reserve some funds in the cap bank. The cap bank does not have any impact on local taxes. May I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved. Second?
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
And Mayor Delcora.
Yes. We're going to move on to the municipal budget introduction. Each year, when we prepare the budget for Hillsborough Township, we work on the challenge of minimizing the impact to our taxpayers, while also recognizing that we need to provide our municipal departments with the funds they need in order to provide needed and expected services for our residents. It's a fine line we have to balance to make sure that we're providing essential services, but not creating such a tax burden that it becomes problematic for the township. Our CFO, Nancy Costa, will be making a presentation on the budget in a few minutes, but I'd like to thank her and her staff for putting the budget together. I'd also like to thank Committeeman Lapani, who worked with me on the Finance Committee this year for helping put this together. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Costa, and then we'll have some comments from the dais, I'm sure, after that.
You're on.
Thank you. All right.
2019 municipal budget will be $30,167,060 and will be funded with $10,497,445 in anticipated revenues. The tax levy will be $19,669,615. Because of the increase in the total rateables this year, our municipal tax rate will be 32 cents per $100 of assessed value. Last year it was 0.325, so this is a reduction in the municipal portion of the tax rate. The tax levy and state aid provides 76% of the revenues that balance this budget. Items such as licenses, permits, shared services, and court fines provide additional revenues. In 2018, the Township Committee determined that we should go out for banking services. The results of that banking service RFP was that our interest income in 2018 more than doubled from the amount of interest we took in this municipality in 2017. In addition to that interest on investments income, fees and permit revenues are up as well. Unfortunately, we saw some declines in municipal court fines and UCC fees this year. The township continues 3 shared service agreements, 2 for municipal courts and 1 with the Borough of Millstone for health services. If a municipality wishes to increase their tax levy by more than 2%, they can do so by adding the additional costs of mandated pension costs, debt service, and capital improvement contributions. Those allowances this year totaled almost $400,000. Since 2011, the township could have increased taxes by over $2.1 million by using these exceptions, but chose not to. As a matter of fact, this year's tax levy increase is 1.833%, far lower than a 2% levy cap. In 2019, 28% of our budget will be spent on public safety, 14% on public works and other departments, and insurance and benefits will take up 15% of this budget. The 2019 budget includes $600,000 in total appropriations to use for funding routine capital purchases going forward. This is a $30,000 increase over 2018. As part of the township's debt reduction plan, we continue to pay off our debt at more than the minimally required legal amount. This saves us interest and reduces our debt at a rapid pace. The state's mandatory pension contributions this year, of which we have no control, are over $250,000. This chart shows the breakdown of the 3 major components of our tax rate: school, county, and municipal. County and municipal taxes have stayed relatively level, but in the 5-year period shown, school taxes have increased over 7 cents. And just a reminder that school taxes make up 66.5% of our tax rate. The township's rateable base, as I said, increased significantly based on added assessments for new construction, as well as our ongoing annual reassessment program. This provided a larger total assessed value over which the tax levy was distributed, resulting in a municipal tax rate decreasing from 0.325 to 0.32 this year. So if your assessed value doesn't change from last year to this year, you will see a decrease in the municipal portion of your property taxes. We will have the public hearing and hopefully adoption of the municipal budget on Thursday, July 9th. And tomorrow morning, the full municipal budget document will be available on the Hillsborough Township website.
Tuesday, July 9th.
Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
I'm sorry, Tuesday, July 9th. And tomorrow morning, it will be on the municipal website. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Any comments from the dais?
Mayor, I'll start briefly because Nancy Moscasa does a great job of laying out the nuts and bolts of it. But being newly elected, and this is actually my first time of being part of the budget process for Hillsborough, I knew that our staff, and I'm talking not only Nancy's, but our staff in the building in general, and how they approach this town and always looking to save money, was just reinforced going through this process. They're always looking, how can we maximize our dollars and get benefits back to help this township. Anthony Ferreira is a lead in that, and with his goals and objectives with all his managers, whether it's looking for grants, looking for shared services, looking always under a rock to find a way to save a dollar. And as you can see, and I'm proud to say and be a part of this budget, that we were able to decrease the tax rate and be a part of that. Obviously, when you talk to people, their taxes are always in the forefront of their minds, in a way of they're not afraid or not opposed to paying their fair share, but obviously a decrease would always be better in their mind. So keeping in mind that we were able to save money for the township, plus initiate the bond that the mayor talked about to start this road project that he mentioned of $8.9 million, just is a testament to the dedication of this staff in this building to really give this town and make it what it is today. And I just want to thank you for all that work. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else from this?
Mayor, I'll just say a few comments. I did not work on the budget this year. I think it's the first time in a long time I haven't really gone through the nuts and bolts, but of course, we're all paying attention and always making recommendations. I just wanted to agree with Committeeman Lapani for your first year. I know it's always exciting to give credit to the staff where savings here in the township are due. There's several employees here tonight, so thank you. You can actually hear it firsthand. But also, just wanted to say thank you to the mayor and the township committee for finding those ways of savings and passing them along to our residents. As we know, every day, I've been here 11 years now on this budget, and there's always some way to find savings. Some years are much tougher than others. We've had our own share of tax cuts and along the way, and had to deal with some of those very heavy consequences. So hearing this today and hearing the last few years of how we've, limited our tax levy and took that down is quite impressive. So just wanted to say that. So thank you to the team for doing CFO, Nancy, for the budget this year.
Anyone else?
I'm going to hold my comments till July 9th.
Okay. Just a couple items. One thing that I like to highlight is, I think Nancy and Sean both said it well, is that the municipal employees here really do take the taxpayers to heart. They understand what we try to do here in terms of limiting the tax burden on our residents. And I'm very proud of the fact that the last, I believe it's 5 years now, we have not seen an increase in the tax rate. It's either stayed flat or 2 of those 5 years has actually decreased, including this year. So while there are certain essential things that we need to do to make sure that we are able to operate as a municipality, we do try to make sure that we stick to the essentials. And some of the programs that we've undertaken, such as paying our debt down early, or not taking money above the exception, are conscious decisions that we make in order to ensure that from a credit perspective, we maintain the stellar credit rating that we do, which allows us to go undertake loan programs or bond programs if we need to. And there are certain times we need to, and the bond initiative we did last year was one of those times that we need to go forward and look to do some infrastructure repair. But the fact that we're able to keep the tax rate unchanged, or in this year actually decrease it, and be able to give a little bit back to the residents, at least from a municipal standpoint, is important to us, because we recognize it's the taxpayers' money. It's not ours. We just get the opportunity to make some decisions on it. But if we have the opportunity to not spend and still deliver services, we're going to take every opportunity to try to do that. So the information will be posted by tomorrow. Everyone can review it and take a look at it. So I look forward to July 9th and being able to move forward with our budget for this year. So thank you, Nancy and team, for your work on that. We'll open it up to any public comment? No?
Yes.
No, not for intro?
Okay.
No, we will. Okay, yes.
hold on.
Yeah.
Someone's coming up. Public comment on the budget.
Good evening, Lou and Weil, 8 Moore Road. I have one question. The interest rate, what is the township paying, or what's the blended rate? The interest rate on the debt?
On the debt that we've just borrowed, I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't want to mislead you. I know we went out for a bond anticipation notes. We were authorized to borrow over $8.9 million, but we only borrowed what we needed for this year. So we're only paying on interest on what we're actually using, not on the entire ordinance. But if you can get me your information, I would be happy to let you know what the blended rate is tomorrow.
Just so we don't have the permanent financing in place yet because we haven't borrowed and we haven't put the bond in place yet with the Improvement Authority at Somerset County. But I believe it's under 2.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, when we went out, it was under
Is
2.
is there any other long-term interest that the township is paying on?
We still have some debt, but it's relatively insignificant. The total debt we have left, Nancy, is?
About?
That's actually my budget. We'll tell you, we have several sewer projects that are out that we borrowed from New Jersey Environmental and Infrastructure. Those are kind of self-supporting because we're getting the money from the residents that are paying for it. I don't have my debt statement with me right now, but if you can get me information, I would be happy to answer both those questions for you.
Okay,
with
great,
facts.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Sarah, do you want to leave your information with the clerk? So she can get back to you? Because you'll forget, I know it, and then she'll...
Anyone else? Okay, any other comments? Yes.
Hi, Meryl Bisberg, 4 Hickory Hill Road. It was a little difficult seeing that. I don't know if in that presentation there was any changes in the overall assessed value of all the properties in the township?
Yes.
Because the rate is based on the overall assessed value.
Yeah, I think we noted that there was
Is that
a
in there?
change in rateables, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the amount?
If it's helpful, I would be happy to put my budget presentation on the township website tomorrow morning as well, and that
Okay.
would give you that information you're looking for.
Okay, yeah, you usually
Absolutely,
do
I'll
that.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on to our resolutions. We have 20 items on our consent agenda tonight. Is there any item that anyone would like to take separately on the consent agenda
I have one.
that you want to vote for separately?
Yeah. Number 11,
Uh-huh.
that's Nathan, and I know I'm going to mispronounce his last
Santa
name.
Romita.
Yeah. I wanted to vote on that separate because I wanted to discuss, his qualifications for the job. I Googled him, and he's an accountant, and I just think the planning board would be good to have someone that had some training in planning for our town, dealing with developers. So that was my statement on that.
Okay. Do we have to take that first?
Yeah, we can.
Or do you can you
Well,
have to make a
any other
motion?
ones- Are there any other ones anyone wishes to take separately?
Mayor, I was just going to comment on 12 through 16, that's all.
Yeah, we'll get to
do that
them.
after.
So
Thank you.
let's go to number 11, resolution appointing Nathan Santa Romita to seat alternate number 2 on the planning board. Can I have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
Any comments on Madeas?
Just a quick comment from me, Mayor. When people are appointed to the planning board, there are no qualifications in certain positions that are necessary. There are some, but in this case, it's not necessary to have that particular background, but I can certainly appreciate your thoughts. Thanks.
And something that's very important, as a past director of the New Jersey Planning Officials Organization and someone who worked on the law that was passed by the state of New Jersey, anyone who goes to work and join the planning board has to take a course now so they can come up to speed and understand every single law that the state of New Jersey does. So,
Has been for a long time.
It's a great course that's been put together. I've had the opportunity to teach it. Anyone who doesn't understand anything about it will certainly come up to speed.
Has he taken that course?
Well, you have to actually be a member, put on the board first, and then you take the course.
And he gave a resume and all that. You've reviewed his resume and,
I have made the recommendation that he be added. I know him, yes.
Okay.
Any other comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Yes,
On this,
just on this one, number 11. Any other comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
No?
Committeeman Lapani?
yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
And Mayor Delacour?
Absolutely, yes. Okay, on the rest of any other items to take separately? Okay, just a couple of items, resolutions 4 and 5 are related to our, part of our affordable housing project, planning, related to RPM and a project that we're undertaking in terms of redevelopment. Do we want to comment on those? Okay. Anthony, I know you indicated you wanted to talk about a couple of items as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to go through 12 and 16.
Okay, make your comments.
I can make those comments now, if you don't mind. Okay. First, I know he's not here tonight, but I wanted to welcome Harrison Wright as part-time building inspector. So he's been through all the interviews, so I want to welcome him aboard. Also, we have in the audience Caitlin Boz, who is going through with the career development. She's been in the planning and zoning department and moving on to engineer. So I think Tom Bellinger, department head there, in not only taking on a new role there, but also an additional role in looking up at obtaining additional grants for the township and working with all departments. So we look forward to that's sort of a 25% new position that we have in town in learning that. So Caitlin's going to step up and look at, again, obtaining additional grants, which a lot of towns don't do. They put in the same grants every year, so we're looking at adding those grants year by year with adding that position. Also, Susan Keith, our court administrators here this evening with our two newest employees. We're really happy to have aboard. First is Anthony Falche, who's going to be joining us as the violations clerk, and also Daniela Savalas is also going to be joining us. So we're happy with both of them. Have tremendous amount of experience and looking for them to step right in. So I want to thank both department heads for hanging in there tonight and supporting their employees, and again, having an employee here established and moving through our career development that we've established and bringing in our new employees on board. And then Gina Dorsey as well, for part of our Clean Community Summer Program, which is going to be helping both Rich Reserve and Sheila Castellano, who's part of that program today. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Just a further note, other than the Clean Communities employee Gina, which is being funded by the Clean Communities grant, these are all replacement positions, not additions to staff. So look forward to having these employees join us as part of the township. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve all of the above resolutions? Well, I'll get you, relax.
Wait, oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, apologize. So resolution 4 and 5, we do have RPM that I wanted them to come up. I think it'll be at this will be at the appropriate
Yeah,
time.
well, we'll leave them as needed.
Okay.
Put me over there, I'll take them come up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to approve the above resolutions?
So move, Mayor.
Second?
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Yes, please come forward.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey, property owner of Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Champlain Road, regarding resolution number 4, resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough authorizing Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates LP to make an application to the Hillsborough Township Planning Board on behalf of the township and authorizing the mayor and township clerk to execute the application, granting Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates LP to act on its behalf. What exactly is happening here? Because Block 86, Lot 21, and Block 90, Lot 6.01 are owned by Hillsborough Township. So what connection?
Correct.
What?
This is part of our affordable housing plan.
You are hiring this developer to develop the land owned by Hillsborough?
That's correct. That's part of our affordable housing plan. And we've had this redevelopment plan both at the Township Committee and the Planning Board. But we do have representatives from RPM here that we can come up and have them show you exactly what they're doing.
So how is it that you're hiring people to develop that land? First of all,
We're hiring on our behalf.
you're hiring them to do work for you.
We're hiring them as part of the affordable housing plan to build
for-
out affordable housing on behalf of projects that are being done.
Yes, I know. Last year, Hillsborough governing body bought Block 86, Lot 21, and Block 90, Lot 6.01 for $2,837,000. That property is directly adjoining my property behind me. That property is wetlands. I have copies of
It's not all.
I have copies
Your Honor.
of the, very awkward when you don't have somewhere to put things. I received this via Open Public Records Act from Glenn Belnay. It's a copy of the preliminary assessment report that was prepared by CME Associates, who are consulting and municipal engineers. And this is dated July 2016. The Sherman property, Block 86, Lot 21, Estelle Street and Roosevelt Avenue, Block 90, Lot 6.01, South 20th Avenue, Township of Hillsborough. And it says here, this is the executive summary. On behalf of the Township of Hillsborough, CME Associates has conducted a preliminary assessment, PA, of the Sherman property designated as Block 86, Lot 21, and Block 90, Lot 6.01, formerly lots 6, 7, 11, 14, 17, 18, and 19 in the Township of Hillsborough, Somerset County, New Jersey. CME Associates understands that the township is considering acquisition of the site for a potential affordable housing development, and the PA was conducted as part of a due diligence inquiry into property conditions.
So, Ms. Jansen, do you have a question?
And then it says here, the site contains regulated wetlands, streams, and a conservation easement, and is situated within the Delaware and Raritan DNR Canal Commission Review Zone, Zone B. Therefore, the site is subject to several activity and use limitations, AULs.
I know the report, so rather than you reading it word for word, let me help you out here. Can I respond?
No, I'm not finished. So there are wetlands.
Can you have a question?
Wetlands, a stream, it's in the DNR Canal Commission
It
review.
contains, it's not the entire property.
It is subject to limitations. Now, this was.
Ms. Jansen, I'm going to ask you to get to a point and ask a question, because we have a lot of people that would like to speak tonight.
This was designated as a area in need of rehabilitation.
That's correct.
So according to local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 et sec, it says, first of all, that you would have to adopt a resolution designating the area as such. And then it says, after adoption of the resolution by the governing body, the Community Affairs Commissioner must receive a copy of the resolution designating the area in need of rehabilitation from the municipal clerk for review. If the area in need of rehabilitation is not located in an area where state laws or regulations encourage development or redevelopment, the designation cannot take effect. The Commissioner has 30 days to approve or reject the rehabilitation area designation. I submitted a request for government records through the Open Public Records Act for a copy of the Commissioner's response. I never got a response to that Oprah request. Now, I don't know, the state protects wetlands. I was at a meeting here, and it's in the minutes of the planning board. The state protects wetlands. So how are you proposing this kind of a
So
development?
can I answer your question now that you've asked 4 times and I'm going to answer for you?
I also have a letter that was sent via certified mail. It says here this is legal notification, but yet it's addressed to whom it may concern. How do you send some legal notification to whom it may concern? And so this was sent, and with it was this tiny little that you can't even read or figure out or whatever it is. So I wrote to these people, first of all asking them, Mid-Atlantic Engineering Partners, who are they and what is their connection to this project? And also I asked for a clear, since this is legal notification, I asked for a clear, readable copy. So I received this, which shows wetlands and stream and the Royce Brook and all that stuff. And I don't know how you intend to put
Does that
affordable
entire map
housing.
show wetlands?
Put affordable housing.
Does the entire map show wetlands?
And then what was interesting over here is.
You're not going to answer my question.
Is it says location map, and it's saying Bound Brook, New Jersey. So I don't know how this relates to Hillsborough when it's showing Bound Brook, New Jersey.
So can I ask you again, is there a question that you have in there?
Yeah, did Hillsborough Township get a positive response that you can go ahead with this project to build affordable housing on land that has wetlands, a stream, conservation easement, et cetera, Royce Brook, and it's directly adjacent to Manville Borough that has flooding issues?
Okay. Counselor, would you like to answer the question?
I believe the law that Ms. Janicek cited says that the commissioner can either accept the findings, reject the findings, or make no decision. We've heard nothing from the commissioner telling us that we could not go forward with the project, and since we have heard nothing from the commissioner to do so, we are going forward with the project. And as the mayor has pointed out on a number of occasions, or attempted to, not all the property is in wetlands, not all the property is confined. You're well aware of the obligations under the New Jersey DEP rules for any developer on the site, including the municipality or a designated developer. Furthermore, most of the properties in Hillsborough Township fall within some version of the Delaware Raritan Canal Commission requirements, either by a report or by a non-finding. So their involvement in this is immaterial because almost every property in Hillsborough requires some review by the DRCC. So when and if the designated developer from the municipality, which had a designated prior, wishes to come, and tonight's resolution is basically to authorize them on behalf of the township to come to the planning board and make an application for a potential development of what is known as phase 1 of the site, you will have an opportunity as part of, well within the 200-foot radius as well as others, to look at what the proposal is and make your comments accordingly. The resolution before the governing body this evening is merely to authorize the developer as part of the requirements to move the process along. We do have an affordable housing obligation whether we like it or not.
So you're saying that if you don't get a response from the Commissioner of Community Affairs, that means it's a go?
Yes.
Who is the Commissioner?
The Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver.
Thank you.
Sheila Oliver is the Commissioner of the...
And also Commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs as well as the Lieutenant Governor.
Sheila Oliver, okay. When I wrote to Mid-Atlantic Engineering Partners, they sent me that copy of that site, and they say here, an application was submitted to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection to verify the existing wetlands on the property. A full copy of the submission package can be found. So is there a copy of the existing wetlands that is available from the township for Block 86, Lot 21?
Sure.
That is available to be received?
David?
I can read. Let me cut off. Thank you. The purpose of that letter to DEP and that submission to DEP is to determine where the wetland boundary actually is. We don't have any documentation other than information that was received on a prior application on that property, roughly 2005, 2006, which approved 230 units on that site, and there was a wetlands delineation on that site plan. However, going forward, that LOI, as it's called, letter of interpretation, which outlines the exact boundaries of the wetlands, has to be reaffirmed by DEP, and that's the purpose of the application that you were copied on. So until that letter comes back from DEP saying, yes, we agree with Mid-Atlantic's delineation of the wetlands, that will be the official wetlands delineation. We don't have that yet.
And the development that you referred to, 200-something or whatever, from what year was that?
2005.
2005.
2005?
Yes.
Who are Mid-Atlantic Engineering Partners? What is their role in this?
They are the engineer, consulting engineer for RPM. RPM was named by the Township Committee.
I'm sorry, who's RPM?
That's the name of the corporation that has been named the redeveloper for Phase 1 of the Sherman project.
Okay, now what is Phase 1? That's the resolution today. What is Phase 1? First of all,
Half the project, basically.
which
Roughly
which would be
88 units.
87 affordable, 1 market rate.
88 units, that's Phase 1, so there's going to be even more?
That's correct.
Okay. Was there any discussion with Manville Borough's officials, being that Manville has serious flooding issues? And once you start doing impervious surface building on this property, then the Royce Brook and everything else is going to be even worse, and the wetlands than what is going on in Manville now. And this property is right on the border of Manville. So according to the master plan, a municipality cannot build and do things that are going to cause detriment to an adjoining municipality. Isn't that correct?
No.
No, you can do anything you want and you
No,
don't care?
that's not true either, but since you enjoy engaging in broad-based statements with little fact, as you're well aware, however, from your involvement in procedures before the planning board and others, the obligation of any developer, whether it is a municipality, a private developer, the like, to develop any property, requires them to reduce the amount of water coming off their sites, irrespective of impervious coverage, in accordance with the water quality management standards established by the New Jersey State Department of Environmental Protection. Anybody developing this site will be required to reduce basically the outflow of water off the site, and in fact reduce it from what is already existing on the site, which is an ongoing situation, since the site is currently in a vacant state, so to speak, which has runoff on it. The requirement is to reduce that runoff to what is already there.
And where's it going to run to?
That's going to be part of the plan relative to the detention basins and related items. No more different, actually different now than it would be, because right now it's running without any restrictions.
And what about the ecological aspects of this area, of this property?
It's all part of the site plan that will be developed. We can't build on wetlands, you know that. But the entire site is not wetlands, and you keep making it seem as though it is. So I want to make sure everyone is clear.
1/3 of that property is
which means
wetlands.
2/3 is not. Is that correct?
Once you create impervious surface, you're going to have very serious issues going on over there.
Yeah.
Hold on. The appropriate time to raise these issues is if and when a planning board application with a site plan comes before the planning board, you will be noticed of same, since you're within the 200-foot radius, and you can raise these issues with the understanding, as you are well aware, having appeared before the planning board on other applications, that mere blanket statements without fact or support will not be accepted by the planning board as testimony or for consideration in their determinations.
So we're not going to talk about the site plan anymore, because that's not what this resolution is about. So if you have a question on the resolution, I'm going to entertain it. Otherwise, we have some other folks that would like to ask some questions, and I'm going to call RPM to actually present what they're going to be doing on the site.
So what exactly then are we discussing in this resolution?
Well, can we maybe be a bit more specific in your question?
The site plan, you're saying the site?
No.
What are we discussing?
No, I didn't say anything about site plan.
The resolution is to designate Concord Street, which is a division of RPM, they're basically the application name for this application, to make an application on behalf of the township before the planning board for a proposed preliminary development of the site as part of their tax credit application to seek financing for the development of the property.
Okay, because there's another resolution, Resolution 5, which says, resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough in the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, declaring that the subdivision and development of Phase 1 of the Sherman Tract is consistent with the intent and scope of the Sherman redevelopment plan. So that's another resolution that's here now today.
That's correct,
And
yep.
that's part of resolution
Yep.
number 4, because they're going to have to seek a subdivision application in order to develop Phase 1, because there is more than sufficient land for Phase 1 for a Phase 2 partial part, which will be developed at a subsequent point.
So you want to grant Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates approval now while you're before?
No, it's approval to file the
nothing's-
application.
This is
The
approval to-
Township Committee is authorizing through the 2 resolutions is to allow Concord Street to file the application with the Planning Department for purposes of consideration by the Planning Board, which they have to do as part of the application since they're the Township's designated developer for the site.
And is this project consistent with the, I don't have it here, I think I have it. What is Hillsborough's ordinance regarding what can be built on wetlands?
It's not being
Ms.
built
Janicek,
on
come on,
wetlands.
please stop with the, come on, really. You know-
And so
as I said
the
before.
Royce Brook and the wetlands and the stream and the conservation easement, none of that is going to be
See,
impacted
but now
by
you
this.
just want to be argumentative.
Nothing's going to be impacted by this.
Hold on, let me finish. Now you just want to be argumentative.
No, I don't want to be
Because
argumentative.
Counselor just told you that we have to comply with all the wetland requirements that would be set forth by DEP. We cannot build on wetlands. We have to go through the DRCC for approvals. So now you just want to kind of rehash and ask in a different way what you've already been asked and answered. And I'd really like to get on and have somebody else be able to ask a question or do a presentation here.
Why did Hillsborough purchase this property? This has been.
As a, it's not part of the application, so I'm not going to indulge your question. If you have a question on application 4 or 5, I'm going to take it. Otherwise, let's move on.
This is considered an area in need of rehabilitation. The criteria for an area in need of rehabilitation have not been met.
Ms.
because-
Janicek?
Because there are no
That's your
existing
opinion.
structures.
Ms.
There are no
Janicek,
existing structures
the-
on that property that need to be
municipality- the
rehabilitated, and there are no sewers. I have lived there since 1973. I never received notice that there's a sewer, and I think the Hillsborough properties that are adjoining there are hooked up to
Okay.
Manville sewers.
As I said,
So
I'm going
this
to
is
make you
not-
stop, because if it's not related to these 4 or 5...
It is related.
It is, how is it related?
Because this whole project is going,
Your Honor.
is based on being an area in need of rehabilitation.
Your
And
Honor.
that has not been, that
Your Honor.
criteria has not been met.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes.
Ms. Janicek, too little, too late.
Oh.
The issue, no, let me finish for a change, since we all allow you to finish. The time to have raised a question as to whether or not this is an area in need of rehabilitation was at the time the governing body designated this as an area in need of rehabilitation, which I believe was 2016 or 2017 at the latest. Mr. Maskey can correct me on the date.
2018, July 10th, 2018.
And there was a public
45
hearing?
days to raise the issue.
Yes,
in
there was a
court.
public hearing.
The matter is presumed presumptively valid. It is valid. It is going forward. It is a designated area in need of rehabilitation, and continuing to argue the issue that it's not is a failed argument, because it is.
because you said so. Thank you.
No, because
I have
the
a-
law
I-
says
I-
so.
One more question, though, regarding the purchase of this property. There was a resolution ratifying and confirming the authorization of Eric M. Bernstein and Associates LLC to act on behalf of the Township of Hillsborough. I don't recall any kind of hearings about purchasing this property. And now, why, it says here, that there existed the need to have Eric M. Bernstein and Associates act on behalf of the township for the purchase of Block 86, Lot 21, Block 90, Lot 601.
Because our
Why-
council
why
represents
was
us in
that?
real estate matters. That's how that works.
Maybe because Mr. Willard is an attorney with the
Mr. Willard
law
is
firm
the
of
township
DiFrancesco
attorney. He's not our-
Bateman,
he's
and-
not our
and-
planning
and
board
that is
attorney.
the elephant in the room. Why is our
gonna-
senator's attorney
So
from
here's
his
where
law
you get
firm
into character
representing the
assassination, and
township?
I'm not
Is
going to
that
let you
legal?
do it anymore.
Is that
I'm
legal?
sorry.
Yes, it's legal.
If you don't, please go sit down.
Well,
I'm
you just
asking
said
you
it's
to please.
legal. You just
No,
said
I
it's-
did.
Oh,
I-
you said,
I
I'm
said it's
I'm
legal.
sorry, I'm sorry. You said it's legal, okay.
Yes,
Is
we're
that why-
allowed to hire-
Is that why
we're allowed to hire-
Mr. Willard
No, see, this
did not
happens again.
handle the
You-
purchase
you-
of the property?
Again, I'll say, yes, it's legal. Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to call up, I'd like to ask RPM to come up and kind of show what they're doing here, just so we can maybe put some of this to bed.
Want to let our employees leave for the night? Let our employees leave for the night?
Hi.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Township Committee members. My name is Elizabeth Honich. I'm Vice President of Development with
If you could just talk into the microphone,
with
Claire. Thank you.
RPM Development Group. We're here tonight to present the concept for the Sherman Tract. The site is approximately 62 acres, and it was designated by the township as an area in need of redevelopment, and subsequently a redevelopment plan was approved for the site in March, and we were designated redevelopers for the site as at the end of March. And what I think we have a concept that we can throw on this.
We're
Working
just
on it?
locked
Okay.
up, so we're trying to get
Maybe
it
we can pull
from.
up the maps. But, so for the first phase of the Sherman Tract, it's approximately 31.3 acres, so half of the site. Just bear with us for a minute, we can show you what it looks like.
We have a little board over here, if that helps you,
Oh,
a
good.
shelf.
Here we have a shelf. Over here.
And this is Michael Waslewski from Mid-Atlantic Engineering. They are our engineers for the project. So this is an overall aerial of the site, and you could see the proposed development up near Camp Lane Road. And that's just a close-up zoom-in of the proposed development for Phase 1 of the Sherman Tract. So here, we're proposing 88 units. They're in two-story townhouse-style flats. There's an associated clubhouse, an on-site parking, a central green space, an interior street network, and also a water detention basin to address stormwater issues. If you look at the overall aerial for the site, you can see that the southern portion of the tract, where the Royce Brook runs along, right along the rear of the property line.
Royce Brook, this line right here, along the border, on the bottom of the site. The white line is the full rehabilitation area. The Manville border is the Royce Brook and South 20th, which is roughly here. Camp Plain Road, that's the top of the map.
Thank you. So as you can see, there's a significant buffer to the Royce Brook from where our disturbed area begins for our project. It's approximately, I think, around 600 feet from the brook. There's also a DRC, if you see the dotted line right there, that's the buffer for the Delaware and Raritan River Canal district. So when we thought about creating a concept plan for this site, we paid close attention to what the environmental issues may be here and paid close attention to the issues related to the brook, the wetlands. One of the first things that we did was Mid-Atlantic went and surveyed the site and prepared wetlands delineation to the state, and that's how many property owners in the area got notice of the project. So that's something that we're very cognizant of in terms of when we created this development plan for the site. So the key priority, for this development is to conserve and protect the Royce Brook and the area, the green vegetation in the area right next to that. What we can say is that this concept plan fulfills the goals and the objectives of the redevelopment plan, one of which is to provide 100% affordable low and moderate income housing for the township. We also, as a part of the plan, we are cognizant of the natural features of the site. We are integrating green infrastructure. There are several areas, I believe 4 large areas of bioswales that are going to be integrated throughout the project. We also have a larger detention basin that's in right at the south tip of our site. And just the overall project plan is to provide 88 units. And in 31, the phase 1 of the tract is 31 acres, and approximately 20 of that is going to be undisturbed. So we're really developing only 11.4 acres of the site. So I think that's important to note.
We also have it up on the screen now. I apologize for that before, but it's up on the screen now, just so you know it's behind you guys.
So the way that the site is laid out, there is an interior street network, and there are 13 buildings that are proposed with 6 and 8 unit configurations, 2-story townhouse flat buildings. And I believe we also have some elevations that we can show what we're proposing. And the design for this building was really created in response to the surrounding neighborhood and the suburban and natural landscape of Hillsborough Township and Somerset County. So we proposed these neo-traditional townhouses. As I mentioned, they're 2 stories, and the flat over flat configuration allows for each unit to have their own floor and for each apartment to have its own private entrance. And there's parking that's going to be in the rear of the buildings, and there's some parallel parking that will be in front. And we're proposing the grid plan street layout to create a pedestrian-friendly environment neighborhood. And we also have a common green that's just down Concord Avenue that we're proposing for passive recreation for the residents, in addition to a clubhouse, 1,600 square foot clubhouse where we'll have social services and other activities for the residents. So the plan as presented is in compliance with the redevelopment plan, and we hope that you'll accept our proposal.
Thank you very much. Part of what, we appreciate the work that you guys are doing here as part of this plan. As we've talked about numerous times on the dais at our town hall, as part of the requirements that we have as a result of our affordable housing plan, requirements that are going to be placed upon us by Fair Share Housing, we need to have a plan in place that will allow us to fulfill our obligation. And this development goes a long way in order to do that. This is a 100% affordable process that allows us to ultimately in 2 phases fulfill in total 176 total units for affordable, and it's a really nice looking development and plan, and I appreciate the work that you guys are doing to help us with our plan as part of the redevelopment.
Thank you, Mayor.
No comments.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Find out when I've done that.
No, you addressed the committee.
And again, this is not on the site plan. This is about the agenda item, the resolution, not about the site
Right.
plan.
Well, there was a whole discussion about the site plan. I have some general questions. I understand
Okay.
the importance of serving.
Can you come forward into my
Say your
I
name and-
understand the importance of serving both the environment and affordable housing, no question there. So I have some general questions, not about specifics, but about the site plan. Is Phase 2 then to the left?
Yes.
And it's about the same acreage,
Roughly.
uplands and wetlands, and my understanding is that there was a letter of interpretation issued about 14 years ago, and that has not yet been submitted, or?
They've resubmitted to get it confirmed again by DEP.
Okay.
So there'll be an updated LOI.
It'll be part of what we have to do.
Right. Flood hazard approval needed? Do we
Any
know?
environmental requirements that need to be met will be met.
So we're not sure about that one?
I couldn't give you a definite answer right here.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you. All right, anyone else, again, on the consent items? Yes, Susan?
Susan Gulliford. I hope I'm not repeating anything. I kind of got lost in the middle of that. First of all, for those who don't have access to this, I want to make sure I understand the location. The physical location is Camp Plain, Estelle, and 20th, that area, for anyone? Okay.
Correct.
The 31 acres is just the section, is that the entire tract or the subdivided lot?
Subdivided.
Okay. RPM is only doing Phase 1, and Phase 2 has not yet, no decisions have been made yet. It could even be another developer, correct, or not?
That's correct.
Okay. So there may or may not be cross-access between those two. We don't know till we see
Don't
the...
know, that's a site plan issue.
Site
not a-
plan, okay. And the other thing is, the township plan, the Sherman redevelopment plan, anyone who wishes to see it can stop by during office hours to
It's
look
available.
at a copy. They don't need to
Public
file...
document like any other.
They don't need to file an Oprah, they can
It's
just stop in.
It's available on our website. Go to our department website under master plan information, it's there.
Thank you. I was going to ask about having one put in the library, because a lot of people work and can't get in during office hours. But there is a link online.
Under our department website.
Okay, I'll look at it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments? On the consent agenda.
So this site, what we're being shown right now, there's no access to any, there's no frontage to any improved streets, so how are you going to do all this?
We don't have a site plan yet. It's just a concept.
Okay, but if you have no frontage on Camp Plain Road or on an improved street...
As
how are you
I
gonna figure
said,
that
it's
out?
not a site plan yet, so I can't answer your question.
Isn't that, I think, an ordinance or something of the borough?
It's
that you
not a
need-
site
of
plan.
the township, that you need to have frontage on an improved street?
See, this is where we have issues.
Thank you.
Because... Yes, ma'am.
Meryl Bisberg, 4 Hickory Hill Road. My understanding is from the last meeting that this will be a project that's payment in lieu of taxes. And I am bringing it up now because I know that tax issues are never discussed at planning. They're discussed really in township
But it's not
meetings.
part of this agenda.
Okay, well, I just want to make a statement, just for the record.
It's not part of the agenda.
So you have to do that.
You had that opportunity to do that. Any other comments? Okay, can I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda? Absent number 11, which you already voted on.
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais further?
I'm sorry, actually, Mayor, you already had a motion
Oh.
from Committeewoman McCauley and Committeewoman
Okay.
Holmes. We were just taking a
Okay.
roll call on
All right, roll call,
1
please.
through 10 and 12 through 20.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Yes, just two quick comments, though. One, congratulations to the new employees who tried to stick it out, but they left before we could embarrass them on camera, so I apologize, Cass, for that. And just the other thing, that although we find this forceful affordable housing that is being thrown at us by the state of New Jersey, and as distasteful as it is, when you have a project like this, when you put everything on one tract of land, similar to what we did on Amwell, which stopped 500 units from being built and prevented 1,100 new students from entering their schools, using those rough numbers by approving this and going forward with RPR, again, using those rough numbers, you're looking at stopping 600 to 700 new homes being built in Hillsborough and preventing 1,200 to 400 students coming into the school district, which would have been disastrous, as was pointed out earlier about cooperation with the school board. Couldn't agree more. We can't afford to be forced to build more and more of these units by the state. So projects like this is the only way you can try to get out from underneath that, unfortunately. So, again, yes.
Good point.
Thank you. And yours is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, again.
Mayor Delcor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, can we move to claims list 2019-20?
So move, Mayor.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? They're not in the back?
No comments then.
There were copies, Mayor, and I don't make, and I apologize, I don't make copies for the entire audience, so
Okay.
they were taken.
So,
Got to get here earlier, make sure you get a copy.
okay. Anything else from the dais, from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes,
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani,
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Yeah, sorry. I skipped. I got excited.
Well, okay, you can go before me.
Jumping the gun.
Yes.
He's like, whoop.
Mayor Delcor.
Yes. That concludes our regular meeting this evening. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Good night.